Welcome back. You're still tuned into Halftime Report. Let's get in Hiten Mystery Sector Lead Consumer at Equirus Capital. We've been seeing a lot of deal action that's happening in this space. Generally, the sector has been in focus because of the tax cuts. Then we saw those GST cuts come by as well. So let's understand what the outlook is going forward. Hiten, good morning. Thank you so much for joining in. If you can give us a synopsis of what has happened in the sector so far when it comes to big deals, M&A action, and do you think this trend is something which will continue as well going forward?
Hey, hi. So basically, certainly, I mean, this has been going not from this year or last year.
Yeah.
This has been going since last 4 years, I would say. We have seen a lot of traction in the consumer merger and acquisition space since last 4 years. And this 2025 has been the fantastic year because this is one of the highest M&A deal had happened in this 9 months. So this drive is not only about the opportunistic risk taking, but it is about the strategic objective. Let me paint a very brief picture. Post COVID, if we see that, or during COVID, we see that Thrasher kind of a model came in India, and they started acquiring consumer brands who are doing a lot of business through the online channels. Slowly, gradually, large FMCG company has also came into the picture. They took like three approaches. One approach, they started acquiring new age brands. However, they should have the presence through omni-channel. Second approach, they acquiring in the regional specific brands where they have a very strong presence in one or two states. A third approach, they acquired to acquiring brands in the global market also. So this is a brief picture I want to paint for our viewers about the consumer merger and acquisition. And all these three, four pillars who really drove the M&A activity in India.
Absolutely, Hiten. Those 3, 4 pillars are the key ones, right? New age was that trend where you had everything related to new age that was doing well, and everyone was looking, even big companies look to acquire these new age companies. I just want to understand more in terms of ethos now that you're seeing coming in from these acquisition fronts. Is it still more focused on new age, or are you seeing a bit of a change in terms of trends, valuations? How are they shaping up as well?
So, see, valuation parameters are very different because consumer sector, if you will see, there are 50 sub-sectors are there, right? Personal care, food, retail, etc., apparels. So you'll find a different 50 sub-segment in the consumer. So commenting on a valuation would be really difficult at this juncture. But yeah, the parameters are a revenue multiple and a EBITDA multiple. But I would say what are the shaping up is firstly about the premiumization. India's per capita income has been increasing. People are looking. Firstly, I would like to say there are 60% Indian population has the purchasing power today, right? Out of that 35-40% is the millennial and the 20-25% is Gen Z who will be really driving the consumer space. If I talk about the merger and acquisition, what exactly shaping up about the premiumization, direct to consumer agility, as you rightly said, new age brand, and the contribution coming up from the large FMCG company, as I mentioned in our initial conversation. For example, FMCG companies are doing well in the western part of India. Entering into southern part of India is difficult for them, so they will be acquiring regional specific brand in the personal care, food space. We have seen in the recent past, like this large FMCG company has acquired all this regional specific brand and the new age brand, because new age brand has that kind of the technology, I would say, and conventional FMCG company will not be able to move towards that kind of a technology, hence they are acquiring the technology led brand.
So, Hiten, you mentioned that the consumption power has increased a lot across the country, and premiumization also has. But some of the rural trends suggest otherwise. Are you seeing some growth coming from rural as well? Not some. I mean, is it at par with urban? There was a point in time when rural was exceeding urban, but that seems to have been done away with, right?
Yeah, so if you see in the consumer trend, lot of consumer companies, and I would say consumer pharma company has also acquired uh, tier 2, tier 3 cities brand where they have a very strong penetration. And Indian public has a different taste region-wise. Specifically, if you see about the spices industry, where like every region has their own taste of spices, right? So the if the companies, large FMCG companies, wants to acquire regional brand, their idea is to make those regional brand to national brand. So with that idea, they are acquiring the rural specific brands, and the consumption will certainly come from the rural a lot. Right. In personal care space, also many consumer companies has acquired Eastern-based brand or a Southern-based brand who are very very regional in their and they are dominating a 40% plus market share in those region.
Hiten, in the consumption story, while obviously I was reading your report and there were a lot of deals that happened in September itself, around 10 deals, right? So what are we talking about now? Is it more on the staple side, discretionary side? What sort of deals are you looking at right now or are in talks right now?
So, as I mentioned, consumer has a lot of subsectors, and if we see the data also, that 115 deals that had happened till date, it's fairly divided into like 20% each of a four categories contributed 20% each. That is home care, consumer service. I will include the personal care under consumer services, apparel, and food and beverages. So all categories have contributed 20% each. And the trend will be similarly in this space. Like they'll be contributing in personal care and food space because whenever it comes per capita increase or people had that purchasing power, they'll be able to spend more on the food and beverages space a lot. Secondly, on personal care, and third, I would say on the apparel category. This way, people generally, I'm telling you the spending cycle of consumer. So they will be spending on food much, then personal care, and then apparel.
Okay, all right. We take that point, Hiten. Very interesting insights. We're completely out of time, but we'll have some other conversation on some other day related to the consumer space. Time for a break now. Rajesh Palvia from Axis Securities will join in with some trading strategies on the other side. Stay tuned for that.